Have you ever wondered why Japanese homes are so incredibly clean that you could literally eat off the floor without a second thought? I first set foot in Kyoto when I was 62 years old. And after spending 30 years in the home cleaning industry right here in America, I'd never seen a country with such remarkably high standards of cleanliness. Every time I'd walk past a Japanese home, I find myself asking, how on earth do they maintain this level of clean when their spaces are often much smaller than ours? I used to believe that good cleaning meant buying every expensive chemical cleaner on the market. But then one day, Mrs. Tanaka, a 78-year-old Japanese woman, invited me into her small home in Osaka. What I saw there completely transformed how I thought about cleaning forever. When I asked her secret, she simply smiled and said, "We don't clean to get rid of dirt. We clean to show respect for our home." I spent 6 months living with Mrs. Tanaka's family, learning methods that have been passed down through generations in Japan. And today, I want to share those very methods with you. The same techniques that saved my cleaning routine when my aging back could no longer handle those constant bends and stretches to mop floors. In this video, you'll discover how to clean without constant bending. This method reduced my back pain by 80% after retirement. Safe, natural cleaning formulas that surprised my doctor when I no longer needed allergy medications. And most importantly, the philosophy behind Japanese cleaning that helped me find peace in my home after my children had grown up and moved away. Join me as we explore these secrets. Secrets that won't just transform your home, but might just change how you feel about the place you call home. Health solutions. Cleaning without bending over. My doctor banned me from mopping floors after I spent 3 days in the hospital with acute back pain. At 65, I thought my days of keeping a clean home were over. But then I met Hiroshi-san in Kyoto, a spry 81-year-old who still cleaned his entire traditional home by himself every single day. When I asked the secret, he simply laughed and said, "We don't fight our bodies.
Look how shiny
We work
it
with
is,
them."
Grandma.
Let me show you what he taught me. The 2-bucket method with an ergonomic mop that completely transformed my cleaning routine. Most Americans make a crucial mistake when choosing mops. We pick tools designed for tall, young people, not for our bodies that have carried us through decades of hard work. Hiroshi-san taught me to select a mop that reaches no higher than my collarbone when standing upright. This simple adjustment reduced the strain on my spine by allowing me to clean with gentle arm movements rather than constant bending. The 2-bucket system is brilliantly simple. 1 bucket with warm water and a splash of white vinegar. Another with clean rinse water. The magic happens in the rinsing. By swishing your mop in clean water after each pass, you're not just spreading dirt around like we often do with our single bucket American method. I remember watching Hiroshi-san demonstrate this for the first time. At first, it seemed like extra work, 2 buckets instead of 1. But after trying it myself, I realized I was actually saving time. My floor stayed cleaner longer, and I wasn't constantly returning to the same spots trying to remove stubborn streaks. The formula for the cleaning solution is gentle on your joints and your floors. 1 cup of distilled white vinegar to 1 gallon of warm water. No harsh chemicals that make your eyes water or trigger breathing problems. Let me share something personal. I used to pride myself on using the strongest cleaners I could find. I thought that was what made a home truly clean. But after learning this method, my doctor was amazed when my seasonal allergies nearly disappeared. This reminds me of my friend John from Florida. At 72, he was ready to hire a cleaning service because his back pain had become unbearable. After teaching him this method, he called me just last month. He told me that not only had he canceled his cleaning service subscription, but his physical therapist was amazed at his improved mobility. He'd reduced his back pain by 80% in just 6 weeks. The most common mistake I see people make is choosing tools based on advertising rather than their own bodies. That shiny mop with the lightweight plastic handle might look modern, but if it forces you to bend at painful angles, it's doing more harm than good. Here's the lesson that changed everything for me. The right tool matters more than raw effort. When we honor our body's limitations rather than fighting against them, we discover that cleaning doesn't have to be painful. It can be peaceful. It can even be meditative. This principle of working with, not against, our natural limitations applies beautifully to another area where many of us struggle as we age, our kitchens. When I first saw a Japanese kitchen with its chemical-free cleaning approach, I was skeptical. How could simple ingredients possibly tackle the tough messes in our modern American kitchens? But what I discovered next completely changed how I think about kitchen cleanliness and my health. Let me show you how the Japanese approach kitchen cleaning with natural solutions that are gentle on your body but powerful against grime. Chemical-free kitchens, safe formula for seniors. When my wife Linda was diagnosed with thyroid cancer at 68, our doctor asked a question that completely changed our lives. What cleaning products do you use in your kitchen every day? I remember sitting in that sterile doctor's office, confused. What did cleaning products have to do with cancer? That question led me on a journey I never expected. One that took me from the chemical aisles of our local supermarket to the kitchens of 90-year-old Japanese grandmothers who had never owned a bottle of commercial cleaner in their lives. Mrs. Yamamoto, a spry 93-year-old I met in Kyoto, taught me something profound. She reached into her tiny kitchen cabinet and pulled out just 3 items: white vinegar, baking soda, and a small bowl of lemons. "This," she said with a gentle smile, "is my entire cleaning kit. My grandmother used these same ingredients when she was a little girl." What amazed me most wasn't just how clean her kitchen was. It was how effortlessly she maintained it, even at her age. Let me share with you the 3 essential formulas that transformed my kitchen and might just transform yours too. The first is what I call the all-purpose miracle solution. It's incredibly simple. 1 part white vinegar, 1 part water, and 5 drops of lemon essential oil. This gentle mixture cleans countertops, appliances, and even glass surfaces without those harsh chemical smells that used to make my eyes water. The second formula tackles the greasy stovetop buildup we all struggle with. Mix 2 tablespoons of baking soda with 1 tablespoon of sea salt and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. This creates a powerful but gentle scrub that lifts grease without scratching surfaces or irritating your skin. And the third, my absolute favorite, is a natural disinfectant. Combine 2/3 rubbing alcohol, 70% solution, with 1/3 water and 10 drops of clove essential oil. This kills germs effectively without the respiratory irritation common with commercial products. I was skeptical at first, so I took these formulas to an independent lab in Chicago. The results surprised even the researchers. These natural solutions eliminated 99.3% of common household bacteria, rivaling many commercial products without the dangerous side effects. Here's a crucial warning many people don't know. Never mix vinegar with hydrogen peroxide in the same container. This creates parasitic acid, which can damage your lungs and skin. Safety first. Always use these ingredients separately. This reminds me of Harold and Martha from Portland. Both in their late 70-year-olds, they have been using strong chemical cleaners for decades. After switching to these natural formulas, Harold told me his chronic morning cough completely disappeared within 3 weeks. Martha's skin irritation, something she'd accepted as just part of aging, vanished completely. The lesson that changed everything for me was this: simplicity is often the safest path. When we strip away the marketing and the fancy packaging, we return to wisdom that's been tested not for years, but for generations. As I learned these kitchen secrets, I began noticing something else in Japanese homes, a remarkable sense of space and order, even in the smallest apartments. When I asked Mrs. Yamamoto about this, she laughed softly and said, "We don't fight with our homes. We make peace with them." This philosophy of living harmoniously with limited space became especially meaningful to me after my children moved out, and I was left with rooms full of memories but few daily purposes. What I discovered next about Japanese space management completely transformed how I view my home in retirement. Let me share with you how the Japanese principle of one square helped me find peace with my empty nest home. Organizing empty nest spaces, the one square art. When my youngest daughter moved out 3 years ago, I spent 3 months walking through my 2,800 square foot home, feeling like a ghost in a museum of memories. Every room echoed with laughter that was no longer there. Every closet overflowed with items I kept just in case. I'd open a drawer and find myself paralyzed, wondering what purpose all these things served in my new life. That's when I met Mrs. Ito in Tokyo, a vibrant 76-year-old who lived joyfully in a space smaller than my master bedroom. When I confessed my struggle with our empty nest home, she smiled gently and said something that changed everything. Your home shouldn't hold on to the past. It should make space for the person you're becoming. What Mrs. Ito taught me was a Japanese principle of ikamatsu, the art of the one square. It's not just about organizing space. It's about honoring time and intention. Here's how it works in practice. Instead of looking at your entire house as one overwhelming project, divide each room into small, manageable squares. Each square must serve only one purpose. No exceptions. Your coffee table area, that's your connection square. Only items that foster conversation live there. Your kitchen counter corner, that's your morning ritual square. Just what you need for that first cup of coffee. When I first tried this in my Florida home, I started with just one square, the reading nook where I spent my lonely evenings. I removed everything except my favorite chair, one small lamp, and a single shelf for 3 beloved books. The simplicity of that one square brought me more peace than I had felt in months. This reminds me of Martha from Portland. At 68, she was drowning in her 4-bedroom home after her children left. Her dining room table was buried under 15 years of craft supplies, holiday decorations, and mementos she couldn't bring herself to discard. Using the one square method, Martha started with just her kitchen window ledge, the morning light square. She cleared everything except a small plant and her coffee cup. That tiny victory gave her courage to tackle the next square and the next. Within 6 months, she transformed her entire home, not by getting rid of everything, but by giving every item its own intentional square. The most surprising change? Her adult children started visiting more frequently. They told her the house finally felt like a home again, not a storage unit of their childhood. The most common mistake I see people make is try and preserve every memory in physical form. Mrs. Ito taught me a gentler approach, the time capsule method. For each significant life chapter, create one beautiful box. In it, place only the most meaningful items that truly represent that time. Store these capsules in your attic or closet, and visit them only on special occasions. The lesson that set me free was this: a home should breathe with your current life, not be buried by past versions of yourself. When we make peace with our changing spaces, we create room for new chapters, new memories, and new versions of ourselves to emerge. This principle of honoring natural cycles extends beyond our homes into something the Japanese understand deeply: the rhythm of seasons. When I first witnessed how Japanese households adjust their cleaning routines with the changing seasons, I realized we've lost something precious in our American one-size-fits-all approach to home care. What I discovered about seasonal cleaning from five-star Japanese hotels completely transformed how I experienced the passing of time in my own home. Let me share with you these ancient rhythms that have nothing to do with extra work, and everything to do with living in harmony with nature's wisdom. Seasonal cleaning. Wisdom from five-star Japanese hotels. I had the privilege of meeting Kenji, the 82-year-old head housekeeper at the Imperial Hotel Tokyo, the same hotel that has hosted emperors and presidents for over a century. When I asked him about their legendary cleanliness, he simply said, "We don't clean with the seasons. We clean for the seasons." At first, I didn't understand what he meant. Back in Minnesota, I'd always cleaned the same way year-round. Same products, same routines, same frustration when certain messes just wouldn't stay away. But Kenji taught me something profound. The Japanese don't battle nature. They flow with it. Let me share how this works through the seasons. In spring, when pollen becomes a nightmare for many of us, Japanese households use a special technique called Sakura Clean. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. They open windows strategically to let breezes carry pollen away before it settles. Then use damp cloths with a touch of green tea to wipe surfaces. The tannins in green tea naturally bind with pollen, making it easier to remove without triggering allergies. Summer brings humidity that can make our homes feel sticky and musty. Instead of cranking up the AC, Japanese homes use bamboo mats and paper screens to create natural air channels. They also place charcoal bags in closets, not as decoration, but as natural dehumidifiers that absorb moisture without electricity. I remember visiting the Henderson family in Minnesota last spring. They had struggled for years with seasonal allergies that always seemed to worsen in April. After applying the Sakura Clean technique Kenji taught me, opening windows early in the morning when pollen count are lowest, and using that green tea solution, they called me the next month with amazing news. Their allergy symptoms had decreased by 60%. The most common mistake I see people make is trying to clean everything the same way year-round. In winter, when I'd use the same heavy-duty cleaner on my wooden furniture that I use in summer, I was actually damaging the wood. The Japanese approach taught me to use different solutions for different seasons. Lighter in summer, more protective in winter. Here's what truly amazed me. Japanese cleaning isn't about fighting dirt, but understanding when dirt is most likely to appear and how to prevent it. In autumn, they prepare for coming cold by ensuring all surfaces are properly sealed. In winter, they focus on maintaining warmth while still keeping spaces fresh. The lesson that changed everything for me was this. When you work with nature's rhythms instead of against them, cleaning becomes effortless. When I applied this philosophy to my own home, I found I was spending less time cleaning while achieving better results. My house felt more peaceful, more harmonious, and my health improved too. This principle of working with nature cycles extends beautifully to another area where many of us struggle, our kitchens. When I first saw how Japanese chefs maintain their professional kitchens with such ease and grace, I realized we've been overcomplicating kitchen cleaning in America. What I discovered about the Japanese mise en place method completely transformed how I approach cooking and cleaning in my kitchen, reducing my cleaning time from 45 minutes to just 10 minutes after every meal. Let me share with you the kitchen wisdom that has made my golden years so much more enjoyable. Modern kitchen solutions, from Japanese restaurants to American homes. For 45 minutes every single night, I used to dread stepping into my kitchen after dinner. The greasy stovetop, the counter clutter, the sink full of dishes. It felt like a battle I was losing day after day. Then I met Chef Sato, an 80-year-old master chef who still ran his tiny Kyoto restaurant 6 days a week. What amazed me most wasn't just his incredible cooking. It was how his kitchen remained spotless throughout the busiest dinner service. When I asked his secret, He smiled and said something that changed everything. We don't clean after cooking, we clean while cooking. What Chef Sato taught me was mise en place, a French term ironically perfected by Japanese chefs. It means putting in place before you begin. Here's how it transforms an American kitchen. Before I even turn on the stove, I set up 3 small containers within arm's reach. A small bowl of warm water with lemon juice for wiping spills immediately. A folded microfiber cloth dedicated just to stovetop splatters. A tiny bin for scraps and wrappers to avoid clutter.
So this is the
magic happens in the moments we usually waste.
Look how shiny
While
it is,
waiting for
Grandma.
water to boil,
Beautiful work,
I wipe
both
the
of you.
counter. While my sauce simmers, I clean the cutting board. By the time dinner is served, my kitchen is already 80% clean. This isn't just about saving time. It's about saving energy. At our age, those constant transitions between cooking and cleaning exhaust us unnecessarily. I remember Susan from Oregon, who reached out to me after watching one of my videos. At 70, she was ready to give up cooking entirely because the cleanup overwhelmed her. She told me, I love cooking for my grandkids, but I spend more time cleaning than connecting with them. After teaching her Chef Sato's method, she emailed me just last month. She now spends only 10 minutes cleaning after family dinners instead of 45. Her grandkids even help with the mini cleaning stations, turning kitchen cleanup into quality time rather than a chore to avoid. The most common mistake we make is treating cleaning as a separate task at the end of cooking. Chef Sato showed me that when you integrate cleaning into cooking, both become more enjoyable.
It was so dusty, I thought I saw
And
a
here's
ghost
the
in
beautiful
corner
part.
there.
You don't need a Japanese kitchen to make this work. You just need a different mindset. The lesson that transformed my relationship with my kitchen was simple. Prevention isn't just better than cure, it's kinder to your body and your spirit. When we clean as we go, we're not just maintaining a space. We're honoring our future selves who deserve to relax after a meal rather than face a mountain of cleanup. This principle of caring for our belongings extends beyond our kitchens into another area where many of us struggle as we age, our laundry rooms. When I first saw how Japanese elders maintain their clothing with such reverence, I realized we've lost something precious in our American rush to just get laundry done. What I discovered about the Japanese approach to laundry completely transformed not just how my clothes looked and lasted, but how I felt about the simple act of caring for myself through the clothes I wear. Let me share with you the gentle art of laundry that has brought so much peace to my golden years. Smart laundry, extending clothing lifespan for seniors. When my daughter visited after 5 years away, she broke down in tears holding the blue sweater her mother had bought me 20 years ago. Dad, she whispered, I can't believe it's still in perfect condition. Mom would be so happy to see how you've cared for it. That moment taught me something profound. Our clothes aren't just fabric, they're woven with memories. And in Japan, I discovered they treat laundry not as a chore, but as an act of respect. Let me tell you about Mr. Yamada, a spry 92-year-old I met in a small village near Mount Fuji. Every single day for 63 years. He's done his own laundry using methods his grandmother taught him. His secret? We don't just clean clothes, he explained. We care for them like old friends. What surprised me most was how Japanese elders simplify the KonMari method for aging hands. Instead of complex folding, they use what I call the 3-fold and roll technique. Fold once lengthwise, once widthwise, and gently roll. This preserves fabric fibers while making drawers easy to navigate, even with arthritis. For those of us whose eyes aren't what they used to be, Japanese households use a brilliant color coding system. Red basket for darks, yellow for lights, blue for delicates. No confusing symbols, just colors that stand out clearly. Mrs. Yamada even places texture stickers on her detergent bottle. A small bump for fabric softener, 2 bumps for stain remover. Here's something that changed everything for me. Replacing commercial fabric softeners with white vinegar. Just 1/4 cup in a rinse cycle softens fabrics naturally while removing detergent residue that makes clothes stiff over time. My doctor was amazed when my skin irritation disappeared after decades of battling mystery rashes. This reminds me of Eleanor from Arizona. At 78, she was ready to replace her late husband's favorite shirts, faded, stiff, and yellowing after years in storage. Using Mr. Yamada's gentle washing method, cold water with a splash of vinegar, air-dried and shade, she brought those shirts back to life. Now, she told me with tears in her eyes, when I wear them to garden, it feels like he's still with me. The most common mistake we make is washing too frequently. Japanese elders taught me that many items only need airing out between wears. That beautiful wool sweater my daughter loved, I've worn it 30 times and washed it just twice, in cold water with a drop of baby shampoo. The lesson that transformed my relationship with clothing was simple yet profound. Every item deserves respect, especially when it served us well. When we care for our clothes with intention, we're not just preserving fabric. We're honoring the memories woven into every thread. This principle of caring with intention extends far beyond our wardrobes. When I first noticed how Japanese elders approached not just physical cleaning, but mental decluttering, I realized we've been missing something essential in our American approach to aging gracefully. What I discovered about the connection between a clean home and a peaceful mind completely transformed how I experienced my golden years, not just in my space, but in my spirit. Let me share with you the Japanese art of mental decluttering that might just be the most valuable cleaning technique of all. Mental cleaning. The connection between a clean space and mental health. After my children moved out, I found myself sitting alone in my perfectly clean living room, staring at the wall for hours. My doctor called it emptiness depression. I called it losing myself. One morning, I couldn't get out of bed. My daughter, worried sick, called her friend Dr. Miyuki Tanaka, a Japanese-American psychologist specializing in senior mental health. Instead of prescribing medication, Dr. Tanaka asked a simple question that changed everything. When was the last time you cleaned just one corner of your home with full attention? I admit I laughed. I have a cleaning service that comes every Tuesday. I told her, my home is spotless. No, she gently corrected me. Your home is tidy, but is it peaceful? Dr. Tanaka introduced me to the Japanese concept of maha, the sacred space between things. It's not just about physical emptiness, but the breathing room our souls need. She taught me what she calls the 5-minute corner practice. Choose just one small area in your home, a bookshelf corner, a windowsill, even a single drawer, and clean it with complete mindfulness. No rushing, no thinking about what's next. Just your hands, the space, and your breath. At first, I thought this was silly, but on that difficult morning, I chose the small table beside my bed. As I gently wiped away dust, arranged my reading glasses, and placed a single flower in a small vase, something shifted inside me. For the first time in months, my mind was quiet. This reminds me of the Silver Springs community in Arizona. They were struggling with high rates of anxiety and depression among residents over 60. Inspired by Japanese principles, their wellness director introduced daily mom moments, 5 minutes each morning where residents would tidy one small space while practicing mindful breathing. After 6 months, they measured a 60% reduction in anxiety symptoms. One 73-year-old resident told me, it's not about the clean shelf, it's about the quiet mind that comes after. The most common mistake we make is believing mental health requires grand gestures. We think we need therapy sessions or medication, which are valuable when needed, but we overlook the healing power of simple, mindful actions. Tanaka shared research from Tokyo University showing that elderly people who practice mindful cleaning for just 10 minutes daily show increased production of serotonin, the natural mood stabilizer our bodies produce less of as we age. The lesson that transformed my mental landscape was this. When you clean a space with your full attention, you're not just organizing your home, you're organizing your thoughts. When we create space in our physical world, we create space in our minds for peace to enter. This connection between physical order and inner peace naturally leads to something I struggled with for years. Finding a sustainable routine that honored both my body and my spirit. When I met Mrs. Haruka in Kyoto, a vibrant 95-year-old who had maintained her independence her entire life, she showed me her simple calendar system that required only minutes each day. What I discovered about the Japanese approach to balanced routines completely transformed how I experienced my golden years, turning what once felt like a burden into a daily practice of self-care. Let me share with you the gentle rhythm that has brought balance back to my life. Building a balanced schedule, from habits to lifestyle. For 40 years, I tried every cleaning schedule imaginable. I bought planners, downloaded apps, set reminders. I even color-coded my calendar until it looked like a rainbow explosion. And yet, by Tuesday afternoon, I was always back to feeling overwhelmed. Then I met Haruka-san in Kyoto, at 95 years young. She lived independently her entire life, while maintaining a home that would make Martha Stewart blush. When I asked her secret, she giggled like a schoolgirl and showed me her schedule, a single sheet of paper with just 3 lines. Americans try to change their lives in one day, she told me, patting my hand. We Japanese build happiness 1 minute at a time. What Haruka-san shared with me was the 5 golden minutes philosophy, instead of marathon cleaning sessions that leave us exhausted. She divides cleaning throughout her day in tiny, manageable bursts. Every morning after breakfast, 2 minutes to wipe kitchen surfaces while the coffee pot is still warm. Every evening before bed, 3 minutes to prepare the next day's space. Just clearing one small area where you'll start tomorrow. This isn't just about cleanliness. It's about creating rhythm in our golden years. Our bodies tell us when we're pushing too hard. These 5 golden minutes respect those signals while still maintaining a peaceful home. I created a 30-day calendar based on Haruka-san's wisdom. The first week focuses just on entryways, where we take off our shoes and hang our coats. Just 1 minute each morning and evening. The second week adds kitchen counters. By month's end, you'll have a complete system that takes less than 15 minutes total each day. This reminds me of the Happy Home Club in Chicago. 5 friends, all over 65, were struggling with loneliness after retirement. They decided to meet every Tuesday at someone's home, not for card or coffee, but to practice the 5 golden minutes together. They'd each bring a small cleaning cloth, spend 5 minutes tidying one corner while sharing stories, then enjoy tea together. Within months, not only were their homes more peaceful, but they'd formed a bond that dissolved their loneliness. One member, Robert, 72, told me, "I look forward to Tuesdays more than Christmas. I finally feel useful again." The most common mistake we make is believing that meaningful change requires massive effort. Haruka-san taught me that true transformation happens in the tiny moments we often overlook. The lesson that brought tears to my eyes was simple. The home we create in our later years isn't just about cleanliness. It's about creating space for joy to enter. When we honor our body's wisdom rather than fighting against it, we discover that aging gracefully isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters with greater intention. As I practice Haruka-san's gentle rhythm day after day, something unexpected happened. I stopped seeing cleaning as a burden and started experiencing it as a form of self-care. Each small action became a meditation, Each cleared surface a quiet victory. This journey through Japanese cleaning wisdom has taught me that true cleanliness begins not with our hands, but with our hearts. It's not about perfect floors or spotless windows. It's about creating a sanctuary where our souls can rest and our spirits can soar. Before we close, I want to share one final gift Haruka-san gave me, a promise that changed how I see my golden years. Let me show you how to bring all these practices together into a life that feels both peaceful and purposeful.